Welcome, my amazing students. Today, we're going to learn English with viral news. There is this topic that has gone viral on TikTok, and this topic is man versus bear. And everyone on social media is talking about this. So let's review a news article of this viral news together so you can learn advanced vocabulary, learn advanced grammar, sentence structure, and improve your pronunciation. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. Our viral news, man or bear. Have you seen this on social media? Man or bear? A viral question has spawned scary responses. Now, of course, viral means to become popular very quickly. And notice it's an adjective. It describes the question. A question has spawned. A viral question. A question that became popular very quickly. So, of course, I'm sure you want this video to become popular very quickly. So if you do, put in the comments, let's go viral. And notice your verb is go. And then viral is the adjective. So you could say this question went viral because you would take your verb go and you would put it in the past simple. So let me write that for you. This question went viral. Or of course, this video went viral. So if you want that to happen, put let's go viral in the comments because if you practice this, you're more likely to remember it. A viral question has spawned scary responses. So if something, a viral question, spawns, this is the verb to spawn. What verb tense is this in? The present perfect, but the verb is to spawn. So if something spawns something else, it causes it to exist. I wrote that here for you. An easy way of thinking of it is has resulted in, because remember my verb tense is the present perfect. Has spawned. Notice that pronunciation. Our vowel is on, spawn, spawn, and then a soft D for the past simple. Spawned. Try that. Spawned. Spawned scary responses. Don't worry about taking these notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now let's learn more about this viral question that has spawned scary responses. Another day, another hypothetical scenario tearing people apart on social media. Don't worry about hypothetical. We're going to talk about that in a minute because the article provides a definition, but I'm sure you know this from learning your conditionals. A hypothetical scenario is, of course, an unreal scenario. Now, notice here my pronunciation, tearing people apart. Here's a piece of paper and the verb to tear is what I just did. Now let's look at this phrasal verb, to tear people apart. And then you need an additional preposition on to mention the location on social media. So let's say I have one group of people here and one group of people here. So if an issue tears them apart, it does this. It causes some people to be over here and some people to be over here. So before they were together and now they're apart. So it divides them. Another example is the new policy tore our team apart. This is what verb tense? The past simple. Listen to that pronunciation here. Tear, air, tear, repeat, tear. And in the past simple, or, tore. Repeat, tore. You got it. So this hypothetical scenario, remember, that is man or bear because this isn't a real question. It's an unreal question. Hypothetical. Of course you know that because you know your conditionals. It is tearing people apart on social media. However, this cultural discourse has some sharp teeth. oh, ha, ha, ha. This is what we call in English a pun, a play on words, because they're only using this expression because why? Because a bear, of course, has sharp teeth. If you describe something, this cultural discourse, as having sharp teeth, it means it's influential, it's powerful, it's having an effect. But to be honest, this isn't the most common expression to describe something as having sharp teeth. The journalist is using it because a bear has sharp teeth and the journalist is making a play on words. But now you know what that means. The question directed towards women. Directed towards means that the question is being asked to women. Women are being asked the question directed towards women. Seems simple. So here's the full question. In the headline, it was just man or bear. The full question, you know this sentence structure. Would you rather, base verb, would you rather be alone in the woods? So this is the woods, the forest, the woods, with a man or a bear. But remember, this is a hypothetical question. To answer, you can use the same structure as the question. I'd rather, and then base verb, be alone, means to be alone with. It means it's the bear and you, the man and you, nobody else. And remember, this question is directed towards women. Women are being asked this question. I'd rather. This this apostrophe D, which is a contraction, stands for would. I would rather. Native speakers use contractions the majority of the time in spoken English. Listen to that pronunciation. I'd. A very soft D. I'd rather. Practice that. I'd rather. I'd rather be alone with, and then you state your choice, a man, a bear. Now, you don't have to, but make your answer stronger by explaining the reason why. Because, and then state your answer. This is one way to answer. You could also comment on the question. Interesting question. I'd choose a man, a bear, and then again, not required, but you can make your answer stronger by adding the reason. Because this is the same thing. It represents would. I would choose. Again, a native speaker in spoken English will most likely say the contraction I'd. Let's practice this. I'd choose. I'd choose. Notice how soft that is. I'd choose. Now you have two different ways to answer this. So it could be an interesting discussion to have with your friends or family tonight. Great conversation to practice your English as well.
Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, the movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson.
While there is no unanimous answer, unanimous means everyone said the same thing. So let's say I ask my students, would you like me to record another lesson where we learn English with the news? And if I ask 10 students and 10 students say yes, I could say it's unanimous. The answer is yes, because it could also be unanimous the other way. I ask 10 students and they say, no, thank you. It's unanimous. The answer is no. So let's put this to the test and find out if we get a unanimous answer. Do you want me to make another lesson where we learn English with the news? If you do, put yes, yes, yes in the comments. If you don't, put no, thank you, and we'll see if the answer is unanimous. Notice in our article, they said, while there's no unanimous answer, which means that some people said man, other people said bear. A good number of women on TikTok, Instagram, and X have made it clear they'd prefer the bear. A good number of women, this isn't clear to me how many women, but if it's a good number, I would say maybe 60%, but it could be less, maybe 40% to 60%. But that's just my interpretation of this because there is no definition of what this means. But a good number, it sounds like more women said bear than man. Now listen here, because again, what do we have? They'd prefer. They'd prefer. Here we have would. They would prefer. So this is another option because we had these two options. I'd choose, I'd rather, I'd prefer the bear or the man, and then your reason why. So that's another option. This has sparked anger among some men online. Let's look at this. This has sparked anger. If something, the fact that a good number of women chose the bear, that's the this, has sparked anger. It means that the this created the anger. It led to the anger. The anger only exists because a good number of women chose bear. Some common alternatives: led to, created, resulted in. Make sure you remember the sentence structure because as you can see, they're all different. This has sparked anger among some men online, but more than that, it has snowballed into a valuable discussion. It has snowballed into, well, I know many of my students are in countries where you don't have snow, but a snowball, what happens, it starts very small, and then the more you roll it in snow, the bigger and bigger the snowball gets, and eventually it turns into a giant snowman. But it starts very small, and as it rolls, it collects more and more. So that's what happened here. So it was very small, the discussion, the debate about this question, but then it grew and grew and grew. So you could simply replace it with has grown into or has turned into would be replacements. It has snowballed into a valuable discussion about violence against women and how danger doesn't always take the shape of a wild animal on the prowl. So take the shape of simply means to look like. Violence doesn't always look like a bear in the woods, a wild animal like a bear on the prowl. If an animal is on the prowl, it means it's hunting for food. It's looking for prey, which it will eat. That is on the prowl. Let's continue. In one TikTok video viewed more than 16.7 million times. So this is showing the virality of the video. Virality means the fact that it is viral. So in this one TikTok video, this viral TikTok video, an interviewer, the person asking the questions, the interviewer, asks 8 women. So the 8 women would be the interviewees, the one receiving the questions. An interviewer asks 8 women on the street whether they'd rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear. So again, same thing, they would rather be stuck. So if they're stuck, it means that they're unable to leave. They don't know how, probably because they are lost. You may know this because you get stuck in traffic. You're unable to leave the street because there are cars surrounding you. So you can say, oh, I'm stuck in traffic. So notice
to be stuck is how that's used here. So you need your verb to be stuck. I'm stuck in traffic. Whether they'd rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear. 7 out of the 8 answer with very little hesitation. So with very little hesitation means they answered quickly. With very little hesitation, the latter. So what did they answer? What is the latter? Do you know? Notice for pronunciation, it's pronounced with 2 soft D's. Ladder, der. So it's the same as what you climb. You climb a ladder, and this is pronounced as ladder because the T's are between 2 vowels, so we pronounce them as a soft D, ladder. So again, what did those 7 out of 8 women, the interviewees, which one did they choose? Well, they chose the bear because the ladder is the second choice. The first choice is called the former. So if it said the former, it means they chose the man, but it's the latter, so they chose the bear. I wrote that note for you. Let's continue. A lot of detractors also seem to be misunderstanding the definition of a hypothetical question. Oh, remember I said at the beginning, we'll have a definition, but you already know what a hypothetical question is. A detractor is a person or a group of people who disagree with either the question or the majority opinion, the detractors. LSD law, a portal for law students. So they're giving us the definition of what LSD law is because it's not a commonly known thing. I certainly have never heard this before, but now I know, oh, okay. It's a portal, a database, an area for law students, offers an especially clear explanation. Hypothetical means something that is not necessarily true, but is used to help explain or understand something else. It is like a pretend situation that we use to learn or think about something. But you, my very smart student, already knows what hypothetical means because you learn it for conditionals. Many men have shared their take on the situation. Their take, but it's not take, it's their take on this situation. And I know it's one's take on because there is the possessive pronoun. You definitely want to add this to your vocabulary. It's one's take on something being a situation. And this simply means one's opinion, perspective, or interpretation. We commonly use this in the question form. What's your take on the whole man versus bear debate? So, what's your take on it? I'm asking, what's your opinion? What's your perspective, interpretation? Feel free to share in the comments. What's your take on it? Now, another way we use this is we state our opinion. I think, I'd rather, I prefer, and then we add at the end, but that's just my take on it, to soften it, to let the person know that what I'm saying isn't a general truth. It's simply my opinion, perspective, interpretation. It's my take on it. So remember, you need that possessive pronoun, my take on it, your take on it. Excellent expression to have in your vocabulary. Many men have shared their take on the situation and come out on the side of the bear as well. Whoa, unexpected. So if they come out on the side of the bear, this is quite wordy, but it simply means that after considering something, they choose one side, bear. So the come out on, it just emphasizes the fact that they considered it before they stated their opinion. So 7 out of 8 women chose the bear, and many men, we don't know how many, also chose the bear. Let's continue. However, some positive comments have argued that the question isn't meant to lambaste men. Lamb-based, notice that pronunciation, aced, aced. So a long A sound. Lamb-based men means to severely criticize. So they're saying that it isn't meant to severely criticize men. That's not the purpose of this question, this debate. Now, to use this in another example, my audience lambasted this video, which means my audience severely criticized this video. Let's hope that doesn't happen. So notice this is a verb, so in the past simple, lambasted, basted. It is, in the way hypothetical questions are, a door to something bigger. So this information here is within commas, which means that you can remove this entire section and it will still be grammatically correct. So I can read it as it is a door to something bigger. This question, man or bear, this question is a door, a gateway to something bigger. I commonly hear a gateway to something bigger. So a door, it leads you from one place to another. A gateway leads you from one place to another. So this question can take us from where we are now to another location, hypothetically. So maybe another opinion or another way of thinking about things. I hear this expression more with gateway. So my example is JForrest English is my gateway to fluency. It will lead me to fluency. I hope you agree with that. You started an important conversation. One commenter wrote on TikTok. It didn't just go into a debate. So if it went into a debate, it means it resulted in debate. People debated this question, man or bear. It led to some of us mothers having important talks with our older sons. This is the kind of thing that can change the future. Now, this was either said or written. But it says right here, wrote on TikTok. This was written on TikTok. What do you notice about this word here? What does this word stand for? This is the kind of thing. In spoken English, native speakers reduce these sounds to kinda. So we take of and we pronounce it more of a, and then we just combine it together. Kinda, kind of. This is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing. It smooths out the pronunciation. But just know, kinda is not a word. But when native speakers write in a casual way, when I write a text message to my friends or my husband, or a quick message to someone on my team, I write to them the way I speak. So I will use kinda in text messages. But in more formal writing, I would not use that because it is not actually a word in English. If you're not sure what to do, always use kind of because this is grammatically correct and kinda is slang, but very commonly used in spoken English. This is the kind of thing that can change the future. A very interesting viral question. I'd love to hear your take on it. Now what I'll do is I'll read the article from start to finish, and this time you can focus on my pronunciation. Man or bear? A viral question has spawned scary responses. Another day, another hypothetical scenario tearing people apart on social media. However, this cultural discourse has some sharp teeth. The question, directed towards women, seems simple. Would you rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear? While there's no unanimous answer, a good number of women on TikTok, Instagram, and X have made it clear they'd prefer the bear.
This has sparked anger among some men online, but more than that, it has snowballed into a valuable discussion about violence against women and how danger doesn't always take the shape of a wild animal on the prowl. In one TikTok video, viewed more than 16.7 million times, an interviewer asked 8 women on the street whether they'd rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear. 7 out of the 8 answer, with very little hesitation, the latter. A lot of detractors also seem to be misunderstanding the definition of a hypothetical question. LSD Law, a portal for law students, offers an especially clear explanation. Hypothetical means something that is not necessarily true, but is used to help explain or understand something else. It is like a pretend situation that we use to learn or think about something. Many men have shared their take on the situation and come out on the side of the bear as well. However, some positive comments have argued that the question isn't meant to lambaste men. It is, in a way, hypothetical questions are, a door to something bigger. You started an important conversation, one commenter wrote on TikTok. It didn't just go into a debate, it led to some of us mothers having important talks with our older sons. This is the kind of thing that can change the future.
Did you enjoy learning with viral news? If you did, put viral in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. And I have another article on a trendy topic, so make sure you watch it right now.